and gentlemen, I would like to welcome you to the first postseason episode of 2022. We are Beer Fueled. I am Beer Fueled Hop, Chris Hopper, joined by Beer Fuel Thury, Dan Thury, Beer Fueled on Twitter, Beer Fueled Podcast on YouTube, Beer Fueled Cup Podcast, Sports, Booze, and BS, wherever you get your podcast from. For those that don't know, maybe only tuning in season, still hanging around, whatever. Last year we decided we were going to do a little more than just football, even though there's still plenty of football content. That's not what this episode is, but that is what some of these upcoming episodes throughout the offseason are going to be. So stay tuned. We'll be rolling through a lot of guests, hitting a lot of cool stuff. So it's going to be some good conversation. Normally for good conversation, though, I have to let my co-host talk. Dan?
I mean, you're doing such an eloquent job.
I didn't screw it up this time. It's the first time I haven't screwed it up in months.
I feel like when you stop and you get to episode 1, Nick, and you get the sultry NPR, voice to it, and you start to really feel yourself.
You just gotta slow it down and get into rhythm. And
I'm cool, man. I'm cool.
Gotta slow it down a little bit sometimes.
Sometimes you gotta slow it down. Always.
Good talk. All right, so today's episode, we got beer. Or I got beer. I don't know what you got. I got beer.
I got beer.
Okay, we got beer.
I got a pickle beer.
We'll get there. And I think I know what pickle beer you have, though, because I was told I needed to buy some of that. I'm pretty sure. Anyway. Or I was asked if I liked it. If I liked pickle sours.
Oh, well, I mean, maybe you've had this.
Yeah, I probably haven't had it, but I don't like pickles.
Oh.
I'm not a fan of pickles.
Not a fan of pickles.
Or cucumbers. Well. I'm not a fan of that anyway. Anyway, what I am a fan of, though, is Black Monday. So we're going to go through and give you some Black Monday predictions. We're going to run through coaching staffs, let you know. Hot topic anyway, who's getting fired, who's staying. So we're going to give you our predictions on who's getting fired, who's staying, where there's likely to be staff changes, potentially GM changes, et cetera, et cetera. We'll give you the full rundown there. There's a guy we like for a particular job, we might mention it, or a coordinator we like to go somewhere, we might mention it. But, those predictions happen later. Right now, we're just going to try to predict who's no longer going to be with us on Monday as they are fired into the sun. And then we're going to go over some playoff scenarios. So we actually get to be NFL fans this week. So we're going to talk about some of the playoff scenarios, get that picture painted out for you, who we like, who we don't like, et cetera, et cetera. Next week, we'll have a full Black Monday rundown, look at doing our end-of-season awards, the Fuelies that we do every year.
Yeah.
And then we'll roll into the full-blown, off-season content, start rolling some guests in, get into more Dynasty-type stuff. All that fun shit. Before we continue with today's episode, though, we are brought to you by, we're brought to you by alcohol.
What's fueling Beer Fueled?
See, that's where an ad read would go if we had sponsors or
if we actually make
enough
money.
Listeners or anything.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I guess?
I'm drinking.
Are you drinking Distill's Pickle Beer?
I am drinking Distill's Pickle Beer. I was able to pick this up. We did a soft release of it at the brewery. I don't know if this is the final recipe for it. It will go to, I want to say it. I know it'll be Illinois release. I'm pretty sure it'll be national release too. Sometime in the spring is what we're kind of gunning for. But this is our Pickle Sour. I had it at the brewery. It's very, very good. It's very, very tart. Obviously, pickles, brine will do that to you. So if you haven't had these before and you like pickles, I will say try them. They're fun.
I don't like pickles.
Whatever.
All right, I'm drinking New Glarus. I got some New Glarus out of New Glarus, Wisconsin. This is their Mocha Berry Bock. So really my first non-spotted cow beer from New Glarus. So my buddy, Morgan, brought these back for me. We actually traded some narrow gauge for some New Glarus. So got a couple different varieties. This
There you
is
go.
the one I was most excited about when I got it, though, because I love Box, and I like mocha, and I like berries. And a mocha berry Bock just sounds like if you like those three things, you'll probably like the beer.
I like two of those three things.
Which one don't you like?
Box. I don't like Box.
You don't like Box?
I'm not a fan. And maybe I need to probably try more. Shiner Bock probably isn't the go-to.
No, it's not.
I don't like it. I've forgot other ones, but I should probably get into more trying the actual German styles more so, from the actual German breweries, not American born doing them. So
You should. I would agree with that because I think that you tend to like some maltier beers, and a Bock is normally a maltier, breadier beer. So
yeah. It's a lot more toasty.
Mhm.
It's what malt? It's not called malt. Is it generally?
It's malt. I mean,
It's but
it's like
which malt do they use? Is it Munich? It's not
there's
Munich, is it?
Munich, Cara Munich, Vienna. There's a couple of them.
Okay.
they get
I
thrown
probably
in there.
would. Then I probably just got to give it another whirl.
Yeah, Victory, Biscuit. There's a few.
Yeah, Victory would definitely be one. I can see used heavily in Box. Super bready, biscuity.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Not a lot to get into in news other than injury news. We're just going to skip over most of that. We don't need to beat the Antonio Brown dead horse to death. So
Nope.
everybody knows what happened there. Let's get into some of this Black Monday stuff. So a couple of these are going to be easy. We're going to go team by team in alphabetical order because that's how this list is. And just kind of go head coach, and then from there we'll decide, all right, we'll break down that team's performance, and if we think that the entire staff is safe, if they're set for changes anywhere, how we think that's going to be. First in alphabetical order is the Arizona Cardinals. I don't really see them making changes anywhere. Vance Joseph's defense has performed quite well. The offense has been firing. Cliff is in the playoffs. They're not making changes.
No, I doubt it. No. I don't know how much time is left on Cliff's contract. I wouldn't be shocked though if we're talking about them within a year or two. Great, back-to-back great starts, to this season and last year. Last year, obviously, got flamed out. Kyler got hurt mid-season, and they ended up missing the playoffs. Then this year, hottest team to start the year, and then kind of have flamed out since. The embarrassing loss to Detroit really sticks out too. So
Cliff has 2 years left. He signed a 4-year deal
Okay.
before the 2019 season.
And there's been very small rumors of potentially him going back to college. I don't know how much of that is to be true when some of these vacancies opens up at some of these bigger schools. So, I agree. He's not gonna get fired by any means, but just something to look out for here.
It's a
in the
name
next
you've
couple
heard
years.
kicked around more for changes more than you would normally. But I think if he leaves, it's either going to be on his own accord or the bottom's going to have to fall out of this team. They've done nothing to change. Vance Joseph is not in danger of anything either. I don't think he's on the cusp of another head coaching job. I think he stays right where he is.
Yeah.
All right, Atlanta Falcons. Arthur Smith, first-year head coach, I believe, brought over from the Titans. And then offensive coordinator Dave Ragone, defensive coordinator Dean Pease. The Falcons are a team that I think is relatively going to stand. They're not going to fire Smith after 1 year.
Not after being in the playoff race a lot longer than people thought he was.
No, and
that alone himself will buy him at least another year.
And a lot of that is credit Dean Pease because it was the defense that did it. Lost Ridley, rookie tight end. I mean, this is an offense that is retooling and a defense that is in the process of building. I don't see the Falcons making any major changes here either. I think they just, they're a year or two off of growing into what they are. The biggest change may be on the football field with, quarterbacks and retooling of the actual roster.
Yeah.
We'll get into that probably closer to when the playoffs wrap up.
Yep.
Baltimore Ravens. Wink Martindale, Greg Roman, John Harbaugh.
Well, we know Harbaugh won't.
No.
The fact, let's be honest, the fact that this team I think they're still in the playoff race. I think
They are. They are. They need a lot to go right, but they're not eliminated.
Yeah, it's absolutely remarkable what he's been able to do with that team, and just the success he gets from not only a second string but even third string quarterback at times. It's remarkable. Defense, on the other hand, I mean, it's tough, right? The whole team's been hurt this year.
They're signing guys to play the secondary off the street.
Yeah, they're basically all these coaches, all the coaches and assistants are likely going to get passes. Maybe some of the smaller ones, but may not. May move on. But the big guys are going to likely stay.
I agree. Buffalo Bills, Sean McDermott, Brian Dabble, Leslie Frazier. The only change here, I think, is if Dabble gets a look is for some head coaching opportunities.
He absolutely should. What he's been able to do with Josh Allen, it's remarkable. Obviously, hotly debated on this show back in 2018 about Josh Allen as a prospect. We all knew his ceiling was sky high, though, if he can hold in just based on size, athleticism, and arm talent. And Dabble has basically extracted all that. And, Josh Allen should be a MVP frontrunner.
Should be. I think that's the only reason anything changes there. All right, Carolina Panthers. This will be a little bit more discussion based with Matt Rule, Jeff Nixon, Phil Snow. Obviously, failures to find a competent quarterback there. PJ Walker wasn't it. Trying to resurrect Cam Newton wasn't it. Sam Darnold came in, got hurt, showed flashes early on like he was going to have a resurgence, and then didn't. They lost McCaffrey again. Defense, I think, took a step back this year. So
played all right start the year, but that might be contributed to a bit of the soft schedule they had to go with.
Yeah, I don't think Matt Rule gets fired. I think that you might see some coordinator changes here on both sides of the ball.
Depends how much of the blame he gets. I mean, the rotating of the quarterbacks in game, no less. They bring back Cam Newton after, Darnold struggled hurt. PJ Walker was absolute dog shit when he played. But you always saw the rotating between Walker and Cam, then Cam and Darnold, and the botching of the Sam Darnold trade and having to pay out his 5th-year contract on top of, because they already picked up his 5th year, on top of paying his second might get him. I mean, that's more of the GM, but I think the handling of it at the situation from a coaching level might get Matt Rule canned after a year or two.
Yeah, I think he's a guy that they're going to give another year or two. I think that you're looking at probably the OC being the fall guy here, Jeff Nixon. DC, they may make changes to some.
I mean, they already fired Joe Brady.
They did fire Joe Brady, so
he lasted half the year, and he's gone.
Right. So Nixon's kind of more wearing an interim tag anyway. So you're going to see a new OC here. I don't know that you'll see the coaching shakeup. I think it's a situation where Rule's seat just starts out hot next season.
Yep.
All right. It's been widely reported the Bears are expected to fire Matt Nagy after Week 18. It's not really a firing. It's more of a we're not bringing you back. But
it's more of a gentle nudge to get the fuck out of here.
He's gone. There's no question about that. He's gone. He can take Bill Lazor with him. Sean Desai, I think, has done a damn good job, though. And I think he might be retained across regimes.
Is that the secondary?
It's the defensive coordinator.
The defensive coordinator. I mean, yeah, he's just. If anyone has any, pause about him, just go back and watch the Vikings game in Chicago and see what he's able to get out of, practice squad and backup secondary pieces to get.
He's been
to be as successful as they were.
Yep, and Ryan Pace did not put him in a position to succeed. They let Kyle Fuller go. They've had a rotating cast of safeties back there next to Eddie Jackson. Khalil Mack has been hurt, generally speaking. He's got an aging defense. He got a career resurgence out of Robert Quinn. Desai's done a good job. I think he stays. Lazor and Nagy, they're gone. And Ryan Pace is the real question mark here. I don't like the idea of letting Pace hire the next head coach and then, walking next season because he'd be a lame duck.
Yeah.
He needs to go too. But I also felt like they both needed to go last year so that you could reset with the quarterback, GM, and head coach all at the same time. The Bears have proven to be inept. Bad teams stay bad, so it's probably just Nagy.
I mean, when you bring in a new coaching staff, especially if the GM comes in, that might be a sign that they clean house. Head coach, OC, DC, a lot of positional pieces, regardless of what the DC's done this year. That might be that may happen. Chicago may hit the complete, the owners may want to hit the complete reset button. And flesh out, pace all the way down through, the positional pieces, or not pieces, coaches. So I think that's something to look out for. I wouldn't be surprised just how much it's been publicly known that, Matt Nagy's been gone, is going to be gone at the end of this year. I wouldn't be shocked if that happened.
Yeah. All right, Bengals, they're not making any changes. I'd say that's pretty safe.
Yeah, I'm interested to really know how good Zach Taylor actually is. It kind of feels like Mike McCarthy with Aaron Rodgers a little bit, right? Where, lead offense led by a tremendous amount of playmakers, may propped up the head coach to be better than what he actually is.
Maybe not. I mean, last season, other than Chase, you had the same offense, and I think that the team as a whole just took a step forward. When the team takes a step forward on both sides of the ball, don't get me wrong, the defense isn't great, but they haven't invested a lot of draft capital in that defense either.
Yeah.
When both sides of the ball take a step forward, you got to kind of nod at the head coach there, and I think that they did. So,
yeah, no, I mean, it's more so, from some of the talking heads I've seen on Twitter that have a lot more information on this than what I do, so...
Do you think that Brian Callahan comes up in head coaching conversations given that Bengals offense, or do you still think he needs another year of sustained success before that gets discussed?
He probably needs another year, like, to see what this offense molds into. There's so much excitement that, I mean, he could easily get phone calls on it. But I mean, look how long it's taken, Chiefs OC. Benemy hasn't.
Bieniemy?
I mean, he's been interviewed for it, but and he's done a tremendous job over there in Kansas City too.
Sure. Cleveland Browns. Kevin Stefanski, offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt, defensive coordinator Joe Woods.
DC State. I want Stefanski gone. He's such a fucking fraud. I think the botching of the Baker situation. I mean, you could definitely blame Baker's pride on this. It's easy enough to see, but Stefanski's just he was overrated in Minnesota. He's been overrated. He had a great roster last year, and they barely made the playoffs. I mean, granted, he got that win. That's great. I think Stefanski's overrated. I don't think he will.
So yeah, that's what I was about to ask.
I'm sorry.
You want to see him gone, but do you think he will be?
No.
Okay.
I think that team's going to make a lot of. I think you're going to see Cleveland being very active in the early off season because they got to pay Baker potentially.
Yep.
And I think they're going to end up trading him. I do. I think Baker's gone. Baker's not happy there because he didn't get his extension this offseason.
Yeah, but what's Baker's value on the open market right now without sustained success, and what's his trade value? And I think that might be what gets in the way. Although free agent, right? So,
and you're going to lose them next year, right? If they don't, then they're stuck. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked if there's a couple teams out there that would, push the button on even a late first,
if I'm
mid to
Baker,
late first.
I don't want to go anywhere yet. I want to get healthy from that shoulder injury because he was put in a position to look. I'm a firm believer that a lot of Baker's struggles were because of that shoulder. I know it was his non-throwing
shoulder. Oh, it was.
Shoulder,
it definitely was. Yeah.
The problems that you have opening up, trying to throw without the use of that other shoulder. I mean, just go try to do it once or twice. I think if there is a fall guy here, it's probably the offensive coordinator, Alex Van Pelt. I think if there's somebody on the coaching staff that does have to fall on their sword for this one.
I definitely agree.
Been the problem.
Yeah. Shouldn't be, but it will be.
Yeah, so he'll probably be the guy that falls on his sword. Stefanski's a lot like Rule, where I think that he's not fired but starts the season on a hot seat. It'll be interesting to see what happens with Baker over the summer. We can debate that later, though.
Yeah, no, of course. We all year, all off season talk.
All
about
off
that.
season, and we will debate these quarterbacks, these fringe guys, some of these
Definitely.
value guys. We'll put together a list and we'll get somebody on. And we'll just debate the shit out of it.
Yep.
All right,
Get John Hogue.
Hogue has
get
some
our boy Hogue
interesting
on.
takes. It'd be pretty good.
It'd be fun.
Production meeting. Could get Hogue on. Could get Shane on.
Yeah.
Just some guys that have a little bit different perspective than we do. Make it real fun. All right,
Of course.
Dallas Cowboys. I think the only reason anything changes here is that both coordinators are going to get looks as head coaches.
I think Kellen Moore. I think Dallas does whatever they can to block him from being interviewed. I don't know if I cannot remember names now. I don't know if the DC will go.
Dan Quinn's already getting rumored.
Quinn, that's right.
Yeah,
It's
Dan Quinn's already getting head coaching interviews. He's already rumored to the Bears and
that's fair.
the Jaguars.
He got a lot out of Dallas this year.
Yeah, he did.
I think it was more so because they're extremely opportunistic. They gave up a lot of yards.
And you got Micah Parsons. I mean, they did give up a lot of
true.
yards. And, the thing with Dan Quinn and the reason that I'm surprised he's getting looks again this quick is he's not that far removed from that disaster that was Atlanta and the wheels totally falling off of that defense when his calling card is defense. So, if he's getting looks, I don't know why a guy like Vance Joseph, for example, or Leslie Frazier, some of these previous head coaches wouldn't also be getting looks,
Yeah. No.
But
I agree.
He is, and he's getting rumored places. But I only see changes there if those two get plucked.
It won't be firings. It'll be promotions to other
head
teams.
coaching jobs.
Yeah.
The Denver Broncos.
Oof.
This one's tough. So, I think it's most likely that Shermer goes, Fangio and Donatel stay. I think that's the most likely scenario. I'm on the fence about whether Fangio should be fired or not. I kind of think he should and go back to being a DC, but because his calling card is defense and the defense has been decent there in Denver, I don't know that it happens. But the thing is the head coach is responsible for the whole team, not just what their background's in. So I'm really on the fence about Fangio. I think Denver probably retains them, and Shermer's absolutely gone. But I wouldn't be surprised if it went the other way either, because, you're a head coach that's really struggled on offense, and to get anything out of this loaded roster from that side of it, and that falls squarely on you.
It might depend on just how aggressive they're going to be in the QB market in this offseason. Fangio's had 3 straight seasons, his 3 seasons there without a winning record. I think most coaches at that point, regardless of what the roster looks like, would be gone.
Well, the roster looks awesome. So the fact that you can't win, your quarterback's not been good, but when you had a roster with Tim Patrick, Jerry Jeudy, Cortland Sutton, Noah Fant, Albert O, Melvin Gordon, Javonte Williams, you're 2 deep at every position there at least, and then what they've had on defense, look, if you can't get anything out of that offense,
Yeah. And
that's Shermer.
Again, just like with Darnold, or just like with the Panthers with Darnold. Yes, it was a 6th-round pick for Teddy, but the passing on both, Fields and Mac Jones to go along with that could also put the GM in that hot seat.
Yeah.
And John Elway is now the president. I don't remember who the GM is there now.
Yeah, so they kind of already changed that a little bit.
George Patton, ex-Viking.
So they kind of already changed that a little bit, right? With taking Elway out of that spot, who struggled to get a franchise quarterback in there. No shots at Drew Lock there, because I think Lock has honestly looked okay the last couple weeks. He's definitely pushing the ball downfield and gives you a different dynamic that Teddy didn't give you, and He's not played mistake-free football, but it's not been atrocious. So, there's going to be changes there. I want them to blow it up. It's probably just Shermer. But the reason that I think that they ultimately will have to blow it up, even if they let Shermer go and bring somebody in, Fangio's an old school football coach. We're going to play defense and run the football. I'm going to coach old school, and that's not the way that modern offenses win. That's not the way
I think he's
teams
gone
win.
because of that.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be the ones out there trying to court Rodgers, which I'm starting to believe he won't actually leave Green Bay now. If they're going to try to court, Russell Wilson and potentially Deshaun Watson away. Mm-hmm. You can't have. It's not. They can't handpick the head coach. It's not like basketball, right. But there's going to be. You may see more of an offensive-minded switch to it, and try to unlock or even become more enticing as a destination, because obviously both Watson and Wilson have no trade clauses, so you want to make yourself look more presentable.
Yeah, you do. So that's what I'm interested to see. I hope he goes. I don't think he will. So right now, just to recap, we're pretty certain most are staying. The guy we know, we're confident that Nagy's going to go. The guys we're on the fence about are Matt Rule, Kevin Stefanski, Vic Fangio. And then there's a couple offensive coordinators we think will fall. All right, keeping it moving. Dan Campbell, Anthony Lynn, offensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, defensive coordinator. That whole staff is back. Dan Campbell, for the roster he got, the Lions were in every game despite the winning record, and he established a culture. What Joe Judge went on a 12-minute rant saying he tried to do or wanted to do or had there in New York, Dan Campbell actually has cultivated that in Detroit.
Dan Campbell is who Joe Judge wants to be. Is who we all thought Joe Judge was going to be.
It is.
Excuse me.
It really is. And I think players are going to see that. I think that's going to make Detroit an attractive free agent destination.
Yeah.
Because I think they're going to want to play for that. And they're going to get another year or two to try to show that they can do something there, at least.
And they also have, I think I saw they have 6 day 2 picks over the next 2 years.
And you can do a lot with day 2 picks.
Including 2 first-round picks in this year's draft and next year's. This team, Detroit being built the right way. Mm-hmm. You can make the arguments about whether or not they should have taken, Fields or Mac Jones at pick 7. They still get one of the best left tackles that has since come out of college.
We see more teams doing that too, building inside out like that. They're not starting with the quarterback; they're building the trenches first, and then coming to skill positions. It takes
a lot of pressure off of your even when you bring in these free agent quarterbacks. Yes, they're very much comfortable within the league, but they're still new to the systems that are being taught to them. So they're not on a full playing ground, but it's pretty even. And I mean that's what there was. I mean, if Goff plays well again next year, that's going to give them decisions. But I think Detroit's going to go. Detroit may still skip again this year too. With 23 is supposed to be a far more enticing and exciting QB class, as this one is not so much top heavy, but really just more depth piece.
Well,
Detroit may be going on the defensive side of the ball. You might see them just continue to build the roster as a whole.
Go on the defensive guy to the side of the ball. Maybe get another, further down wide receiver with a different skill set than what Amon-Ra St. Brown has, because he's, proven what his role can be in the intermediate range and is a hyper reliable volume type guy. So maybe get somebody that can stretch the field a bit more. We'll have ideas on who that is as we get more into rookies.
There's a lot. This is a pretty good wide receiver class.
So there are definitely things that they can do. Again, more on roster breakdowns as we go. Detroit Lions staff safe. Green Bay Packers staff, again, only change here will be if Nathaniel Hackett gets picked up for a head coaching job.
Yeah, I don't know. That's easy. They're all staying.
LaFleur's a coach of the year candidate. Joe Barry's defense started out ugly. They've improved as the year went on. So,
yeah, very good defense.
Houston Texans.
I mean, they're kind of like Detroit, except not quite still doing it right. But Maybe
I
they
hate this
got something
organization.
out of Davis Mills, man. They did.
I hate this organization. David Coley was like the seventh option that they had because nobody wanted to coach for them. And I think that he's done a decent job with that team, getting the most out of that roster, getting that team to play.
Yeah.
Old friend Lovie Smith on the defensive side of the ball there. I think that defense has played better than a lot of people expected. And Tim Kelly on the offensive side, I think, has gotten enough out of what little he has to where they're going to get a pass, and we'll see what the Texans do to rebuild this roster. I mean, they're still suffering from some Bill O'Brien bad trades, not having draft capital. Coley's brought in basically to be the fall guy in a couple of years when they're still not good. Bill O'Brien put him in that position.
Yeah, they're. I mean, it's all going to hinge on Watson's situation with what they can regain back through draft picks, and just what this team's going to look like as more expectations are put on them. The same thing with Detroit. As the expectations continue to rise, are they going to be able to to meet those?
Yep. Colts, Frank Reich is safe. Offensive coordinator Marcus Brady probably safe. Matt Eberflus probably safe. Kind of a mediocre season for them, but they're in playoff contention.
They're probably going to the playoffs,
so they'll be fine. Jacksonville, Darrell Bevell, Joe Cullen. That's probably getting blown up. Bevell will land someplace else. I think he's a decent enough and young enough offensive coordinator. I don't think he's going to get the head coaching gig there. I think that whole thing's getting wiped out.
No, I keep saying Byron Leftwich. Obviously, we've seen Dan Quinn.
I want it to be
Kellen
Leftwich.
Moore. I would love to see Leftwich make a return back there. They got to get someone offensive. Like, there's no fucking way that they go defensive and got Urban Meyer level of flashy. They got to get something to keep building the confidence of Lawrence after his truly lost season.
I agree. I agree that they do. And for guys like that, you're looking at Nathaniel Hackett, who's been working with Aaron Rodgers. You're looking at Kellen Moore potentially being able to come in there. Byron Leftwich, especially Moore and Leftwich, former quarterbacks in the league. Those are guys that could come in and really make an impact on Lawrence, but also Brian Dable after what he was able to do with Josh Allen. Some names
I would be so happy to see that if he gets that shot. Oh my God.
Yep.
I mean, I know most people expect a bounce back from Lawrence, and we'll get more into that when we do the rookie year breakdowns. But that would also be a nice match made in heaven.
Kansas City Chiefs. The only change here will be Eric Bieniemy.
Hopefully
he'll get some more head coaching looks. Los Angeles Chargers. Staley's been fine. Lombardi might get some head coaching looks. I don't see anybody getting fired there, though.
No, and they're going to more than likely make the playoffs.
Yeah,
I see them. They'll be Vegas and get themselves in.
Yep. All right, so through the middle there a little bit. The only people that we're looking at getting fired through that middle group is probably Darrell Bevell and Joe Cullen and the Jaguars staff. A lot more people in that run that we think are pretty much locks to stay with Dan Campbell, Matt LaFleur, David Coley, Frank Reich, Andy Reid, Brandon Staley. So on to the Rams, Raheem Morris, Kevin O'Connell, and Sean McVay. So McVay's obviously not in danger. O'Connell, not in danger. Raheem Morris is an interesting one to me, though, because I feel like the Rams defense, for the pieces they have, is really underperformed.
Yeah. There's been some COVID scares a little bit to it.
They're also a little older, too, with some of the pieces they got. I mean, but they've been okay, but when you look at what they have on paper, I feel like that's a defense that should have been better, and they might be able to justify a change there. It's kind of like the defensive coordinator version of what, I think Stefanski might be as a head coach, where it was fine, can be fine, ugly, really just underperforming though.
Yeah, I mean, look at the positional finishes. They're bottom half in pretty much in most categories from the defensive side. Besides, the passing yards are ranked about 20th. But like you said, given the talent of which they had, when you have Ramsey, when you have Darnold, that alone. Donald. There's a lot. And then with the trading for Von Miller.
Yeah.
He'll probably get another shot just to kind of keep cohesion into next year.
Yeah, I think so. Just one of those interesting things I wanted to throw out there that, not all is well there because there was some underperformance. Raiders, that's a squad that I think is getting blown up. You saw Gruden fired. I don't think that Rich Biasia has done enough to hold on to that. Greg Olsen and that offense have floundered down the stretch. Gus Bradley is really the only one that's gotten the most out of his group, and he'll probably be let go with the rest of the staff.
Yeah, this one, I agree with you. This will be, again, fully blown up. Maybe to a point where maybe Derek Carr is gone. This is new look Raiders. Pretty much a team, a coaching staff, and some key pieces on the actual team. So,
all right, Miami Dolphins. This is a team that we looked at them last year and felt that they were almost a better version of what I would say the Lions and the Texans were this year as far as getting more out of their roster than they should have been able to.
Yeah.
They didn't repeat that performance this year.
Obviously, first team in history to lose 7 in a row and win 7 in a row.
They got better, but they won 7 in a row.
The fact that they won 7 in a row to help end the year is what's going to be more looked at. And I think Brian Flores will obviously get another shot at this.
Flores, I'm sure, gets another shot. It's more so coordinators that I'm looking at, particularly the lack of development from Tua and the offensive guys in Studesville and Godsey.
I think Tua from a statistical standpoint has been whatever, but I think they're in this run. There's been a lot of strides and improvement from Tua during the 7-game streak. The fact that there's still a lot of pieces, I think they still need to.
Also, the clusterfuck of a run game. I wouldn't be surprised, to me, if that two-headed thing of George Godsey and Eric Studesville sees a little bit of a makeover. I think something changes in that offensive room.
There's also need a complete overhaul of the receiving core. Sands, Waddle. I don't even think Gesicki's safe, even though he will be. I don't think even he's safe. Waddle is probably the only piece that feels like a long-term answer there. So
running back room needs a total overhaul as well. We saw Parker have a mini breakout, then totally regress. Fuller was hurt for most of it. So there's definitely, I agree, there's personnel issues there. But
yeah,
I'm just saying that,
no, I get you.
Planting my hat on that one.
Yep.
Vikings.
Zimmer's gone. There's already been rumors that he'll be gone at the end of the season. There's been a lot of people calling for Spielman's head. I think they're he's made some questionable choices. You can get at him for the Cousins second contract. The first one, it was absolutely the right call. Extending Zimmer, I think that obviously wasn't his call, but I think that was, it's part of his call. I think that was probably the wrong one, the same way extending Cousins was. This team's window is at least a year removed. And while COVID and injuries have completely destroyed the defense, which again is Zimmer's calling card, the lack of being able to adjust it to get more from your youth, especially your secondary pieces, which was definitely Zimmer's calling card. That's what he's been known for since he's been a DC and secondary coach in this league. That's been the more disappointing. And to speak on behalf of majority of Vikings fans, I am completely ready to move on and get a new coach, new OC. Clint Kubiak, for the love of God, is god awful. Just as overrated as Stefanski is. I'm ready to call a ship. I think keeping the DCs though. I think I'm fine with one of the better
Zimmer's
pass
gone.
rushers
I'm
this year.
assuming Adam Zimmer's gone.
Adam will be gone. Andre Patterson, I
Andre
think, will stick.
Patterson
So
might stay.
Patterson,
So
I think he'll stick.
Bears situation, basically, then.
Yeah, but just like the Bears, you may see a massive overhaul.
Of everything.
Spielman's definitely not safe, though. He should be, but he's definitely not safe.
It's like Ryan Pace. I mean, I can say the same thing where there's been some solid decisions that Pace has made and some questionable ones. And, I think
they're always remembered for the bad ones, right?
Yeah.
Even though Nagy or Pace's decision to take a quarterback just got the wrong one.
He got it right. He got it right the second time. Most GMs don't get the chance to do that twice.
No, I agree. So I think Spielman is still going to be there, but obviously Zimmer and his son and
a lot of synergies
Kubiak
there.
are all gone. Yeah.
One other note on this one too. Given where the Vikings' strength is, I think when they hired Zimmer, it made a lot of sense because that was a coach that could bring out the
defense was bad before Zimmer too.
Yeah,
it was god awful.
You had Xavier Rhodes and Harrison Smith and Sendejo and Dre Waynes and a pass rush before with Daniil Hunter and Everson Griffin. I mean, the strength of that Vikings team was the defense, and it hasn't been the last couple of years. And part of that's coaching. They did invest a lot in their secondary this year, so not getting anything out of that investment is damning.
Yeah, they're very much so.
This is a team where their strength is now on the offensive side of the football with Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, and Kirk Cousins can be part of that viable solution, but they need to go offensive here.
I go so much back and forth, but I would love to see Cousins with more of an offensive minded, more of a up-tempo
modern
coach. Yeah. Because even the offensive line did a lot better than what people expected from it this year too.
I think it's just the wrong fit at this point in time. I think the roster's evolved and it hasn't evolved in a way that fits Zimmer's strengths.
Yep.
Patriots aren't doing anything. Next.
No.
Saints aren't doing anything. They've overperformed.
Yeah.
The New York Giants. They've already said Judge is going to be back for a third year. I don't know that he should be. Freddie Kitchens is the offensive coordinator after they fired Garrett. Yeah, Freddie Kitchens is going to go too. They need to try to do something on the offensive side of the football. Judge, one of those old school coaches, though, so we'll see. That's actually that's where Kubiak's going to end up.
Dude, I don't know how Giants fans stay Giants fans. I know loyalty and all, but my God, they're becoming the laughing stock. Right? It's not the Jets anymore. It's not the Lions. It's not the Bengals.
Right.
It's the fucking Giants. Laughing stock franchise. I mean, even Washington has kind of rid themselves of that.
Gettleman's the one that'll be gone. And
yeah.
I can't. They said that. They said as much going into the season. They needed to see improvements. It hasn't been there. Gettleman's going to get the axe, and he should. Judge will hang on. Kitchens will probably get the axe. I think Patrick Graham on the defensive side of the ball probably stays.
I mean, the defense is,
for what they've got, they've been fine.
Yeah. It's just
the offense has been the trash compactor of that, and
just everything.
You know what?
I'm afraid though, if Kitchens gets the benefit of the doubt because of how injured that offense and that.
But remember,
COVID.
They fired Jason Garrett midseason, so Kitchens.
Yeah, I know.
So
I said I wouldn't be surprised, but it is fucking Giants, so
yeah. Personnel is where it starts here, though, I think, and that is squarely on Gettleman.
Yeah, I agree.
Jets showed what I would consider consistent improvement, including Zach Wilson as the season went on. So Saleh, LaFleur, Ulbrich, they're safe.
Yeah, they're all tied together. So I mean,
if first year, so
yeah,
they'll
we gotta stop expecting Justin Herbert year one. We have to.
Yep, because you're not going to get it. And Wilson's progressed as the season's gone on. I think Miguel Chapton does pretty decent QB breakdowns for all these rookie guys, and has pointed out that it's been kind of 2 steps forward, 1 step back, but the progress has been steady for Zach Wilson.
He's shaping up, game manager style. It's what
Yeah.
I like this. He hasn't thrown a pick since week 13, and he
Which is
hasn't had a
good.
double-digit pick game all the way back since week 3.
And that's not a bad foundation. You don't
Nope.
want to see somebody settle into game manager, but if you got a guy that was as free-slinging as Zach Wilson to slow it down and learn to manage the game and then can start to fold in some of that big arm, big run, big play talent that he flashed, you're going to be fine.
He's still very, people got to understand, he's still extremely raw. I mean, the defense, yes, he played 3 straight seasons starter, so he's not raw from that standpoint, but the defenses you face,
We're not much.
we're pretty much Division 2 level at this point. They BYU don't play tough schedules.
So they did a good job getting him to, I think, slow down and button some of that up, and now you just try to fold some of that back in. It's like a high strikeout, high power major league hitter, right? You slow
Maybe
it
he'll
down.
go the way of Josh Allen. I mean, he's got the talent.
He does.
He's obviously more mobile than he's not the same size in terms of bulk
Right.
as Allen, but
He's quick.
if the confidence comes back, I actually like that they went game manager mode with them. I
I think he's going to
agree
learn. I think he learns a lot more from it.
Yeah, the fact that we talked about all off season and all start of the year, he didn't have anybody. He didn't have any back. He didn't have any, buddy to lean on in that QB room. I mean,
Right.
fuck, Mike Wick was a rookie, 3 years ago.
Right. Bringing Flacco, I think that might have helped too. Honestly.
Yeah,
And
mid-season. Yeah.
having
No,
that veteran
I agree with you
presence,
there.
because you started
Yeah.
to see Wilson improve after he got back from that injury that necessitated them bringing in Flacco, and I don't want to attribute that to Flacco, but you finally got a veteran presence that can help the kid. So
You're not asking him to throw the ball 40, near 40 times, right? The last
Right.
3 games, 23, 22, 13, or 33. So
yep.
it's good.
Eagles aren't getting rid of anybody.
No, God. Talk about a team that's overperformed expectations. You're going to the fucking playoffs. The Eagles.
The Eagles,
Very, very easy schedule towards the end of the year, but they're still a playoff team.
they are. Steelers. Tomlin's obviously safe. Matt Canada would be the one I would question here, but I think Ben's probably just going to catch the brunt of that.
I think Matt's gone.
I
think
hope
they'll bring in
he's
somebody new.
gone.
I think Matt Canada's guy. He's gone.
I hope he's gone. Defensive coordinator Keith Butler has been fine.
No, defense is still fine.
Seattle underperformed.
Oh God, if our new Zimmer is going to be Pete Carroll, Zimmer will get canceled or will get fired, and then Carroll will be the new the new Mike Zimmer, the new Lovie Smith, the new Marvin Lewis. These long tenured coaches that have lived off of the coattails of previous success.
And that very well could be, because Pete Carroll, I mean, normally you do the...
They may lose Russell Wilson.
Yeah, you may lose Russell Wilson.
Yeah,
The
that might be it
offense-
for them.
The offense underperformed. You failed to protect him. The defense hasn't been rebuilt. Ken Norton Jr. didn't do anything with the scraps he was given. Shane Waldron wasn't the answer at the OC. They regressed in a lot of ways. I don't know how often you can turn over coordinators and not have the problem be fixed and continue to give the head coach a pass. That's what they've done the last 3 seasons, is turned over the OC and not given the head coach a pass. So
I can see the DC saying
or 2 of the last 3. Yeah, Norton Jr. will probably
Norton
stay.
should probably. I mean, they're 10th in points against. The defense is. I think the defense played a lot better than
what they had.
people will give them credit for, especially like you said with the scraps that they have. They don't have the offense going to help make them shine more, but the defense, especially this second half, they've definitely improved.
So, yeah, Carroll, it would surprise me if he's gone. If he were a lesser-known name without the success that he's had, he would definitely be gone.
He needs to be gone. That may be the call though. If they move Wilson, that's very much a key sign to.
Pete Carroll will probably end up retiring from there. Honestly,
That's
Oldest
fucking
coach in the
that would
NFL,
also be
so.
same difference to me at this point. So
He needs to be gone though.
they're gonna ask him to resign.
Yeah,
One of those old timey wimey guys that's done something a little that's pissed off HR a little too much, so they're gonna ask him to resign.
You can
and
resign
save
or you can
face.
be fired.
Yeah.
and Waldron will go.
Yeah.
Either way, there's going to be a fall guy. So
True.
Niners aren't changing anything. I don't think either side. D'Amico Ryans is a guy that could be a head coaching candidate in a couple years. He ain't there yet. Defensive
Probably
coordinator.
more sustained success. Yeah.
Yep.
Want to
Mike-
keep seeing how the defense progresses.
Mike McDaniel's definitely shown some creativity behind Kyle Shanahan. They're staying, though. They're not going anywhere. Tampa
Yeah.
Bay, Leftwich and Bowles both could get head coaching looks. Definitely Leftwich will.
He'll definitely get looks. We'll see how much Tampa Bay wants to block it, especially if Brady stays there.
So Arians has been grooming Leftwich, so I don't know that they'll pretty much everywhere for a head coaching role.
I mean, what if like Arians retires and then Leftwich is kind of
Well,
69 years? He'll be, he's 69. Nice.
that could be.
He's had his own health. I think he's had some health scares too. Maybe that's what they're waiting for.
Leftwich is gonna get looks. Todd Bowles should get looks. That Bucs defense has been solid. I thought when Bowles was let go from the Jets, they were performing for Adam Gase that they were performing better than what they should have. He deserves another look as head coach.
Yeah, I mean, again, 3 straight losing seasons before he left the Jets here, so it makes sense why he got canned. But I agree, he's found himself in the right way as the DC since then.
Yeah, but I think if you'll remember those last 2 losing seasons, they still
It's all-
outperformed.
yeah.
Even though they were losing seasons, he outperformed the roster.
Of course.
Titans are not losing anything. 2 relative unknowns. They're trending towards being a 1 seed. Just Vrabel. Football team.
New team name.
New team name.
2222. 2222.
I think they're all safe. I think that Del Rio gets a pass because of basically how banged up his pass rush got.
The whole team.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
The offense, they need more offensive weapons. Scott Turner's not getting fired because of that, so they're going to be safe.
They'll get one more year. They'll have to find a way. I mean, Heineke's not going to be there. I think Washington's a team that'll likely be the ones out there looking for a veteran, quarterback that kind of help jump in it and be
Probably.
Yeah, that it's a good roster
It
when
is.
healthy. To be
There's
honest,
pieces,
it really is.
They need more pieces, but there's definitely pieces.
It's a less sexy Denver team.
All right. So to recap, getting fired. We have our hats on. Matt Nagy.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
Daryl Bevell, who's
Yep.
an interim role anyway, for
Mhm.
sure. Rich Bisaccia, interim role. Mike Zimmer. And I think that was it. Yeah, that's it
Yeah.
for sure getting fired. Then on the maybe front, we had Matt Rule, Kevin. This is kind of the maybe / we'd like to see fired front. We had Matt Rule,
Yes.
Kevin Stefanski, Vic Fangio. Let's see. That might have been it. Stefanski, Fangio,
Pete Carroll.
Pete Carroll. And then a bevy of coordinator changes. So be interested to see how that shakes out. There's obviously going to be some surprises here. I think the ones that we are almost certain are getting fired are almost certainly getting fired. I think it's that middle area where we think guys should be fired but will probably stay. I think we set ourselves up to be shocked by the fact that 1 or 2 of those guys actually do get fired, because I think we're assuming that those teams are going to make the wrong decision and retain those guys.
And there might even be a guy from the ones that we think are fine or may get that chance. Ones that we didn't really mention in that second tier. It's more of a safe that we may end up seeing, get canned. A lot of,
Yeah.
with this being another COVID year, especially with where the COVID outbreak started in the NFL, towards the back half of the season, you might start to see, you might see a little more of that line being, given out. So you may even see less amount of coaches getting canned.
Yep. So we'll start to see dominoes fall. We'll cover them all next week. All right.
So Antonio Brown just released a statement about what happened on the sideline.
Oh, yeah?
He said that Bruce Arians tried to make him play through an ankle injury.
That's what's been circulating. And I think the one, let's see, ordered him to play on his injured ankle in Week 17 against the Jets and told Brown he was done with the team after he refused to go back into the game. So here's the thing. One, I'd like to hear from the trainers.
Yeah.
So if Arians, in fact, was trying to force AB to go back in and play injured, there's a big problem there. If it was you're done, right? As in you're done for the day, because that's the other thing I'd seen reported is that you told him he was done for the day, and
I mean he was hobbling and around. I mean he was jumping around.
He was jumping around and running off the field, and he didn't look like his ankle was hurting too bad as he was leaving. But
no,
the shit of it is that I've heard it reported both ways, where told him to come back in on his injured ankle, and if not, then he was done with the team. I've heard it he was done for the day, and then there was a meltdown because of the bonuses that Brown had riding on things. And I'm also curious what information might have been there from the trainers, the training staff, and the medical professionals.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see what comes out from this. Yeah.
That to me,
yeah, obviously what had happened, there's so much more info we need from this instead of just now statements. I want to, like you said, I want to hear from some of the non, known pieces. I need to make statements.
Jesus. Here's the fun one. The staff injected me with what I now know is a powerful and sometimes dangerous painkiller that the NFL PA is warned against using, and I gave it my all for the team. So the staff injected you with Toradol because the staff always injects people with Toradol so they can play. If you've been in the league, I've heard McAfee talk about this. If you have been in the league for any period of time, you cannot feign ignorance over what the hell Toradol is. You know what Toradol is. So what I now know is, you didn't go out and hop in the cab and Google, what is Toradol? You know what that shit is. Don't play stupid.
It's right. Yikes.
The pain was extreme. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you showed that one, huh?
Baker to have surgery January 19th.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Good. Get it fixed. Get healthy. Burrow's sitting out this week, by the way, too.
That's why I don't play Week 18, folks. I'm going to expect the same from Rodgers and all those guys now.
Yeah.
Bay.
And Bruce Arians apparently went full Undertaker when he said you're done and made a threat / gesture. Because that somehow wasn't on cameras, right?
Yeah, right.
No, I didn't walk away from my brothers. I was thrown out. Having season-ending surgery to repair what he said is cartilage loss, a torn ligament, and broken bone fragments.
Is that Baker?
No, Brown.
Oh, Brown?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. That'll be interesting.
We'll have more up. Yeah, we'll...
It sounds like a cleanup procedure, too, so who knows how long that's actually been prominent.
True.
So we'll see. There could be a legitimate case there. I believe that there could be, but given all of Antonio Brown's other antics, kind of hard to take him at his word.
Very much.
Just saying.
Just saying.
Beer review.
All right, Pickle Dick.
I mean, it's as advertised, right? It tastes like pickle brine, drinks like pickle brine. It's a bit tart with the goza base. If you like pickles, and if you like pickle juice, and you like sours, pretty sure you'll like pickle beers. No, there's obviously different variants throughout from different breweries. But mine's pretty good.
All right. Mocha Berry Bach from New Glarus Brewing Company. It's very berry. It's very sweet, which I would kind of expect a Bach to be. I don't get a lot of the mocha off of it. Like, you tell me mocha, I expect some kind of dark chocolate almost. Maybe even a little bordering on coffee notes that would help offset the sweetness on this one. And it's not there. It's almost all like dark berries, like blackberry, raspberry, and it's bordering on tart. But it's almost like drinking berry juice. I'm kind of interested. I've got another bottle of this. It's not bad. It's a little much.
Yeah.
I got another bottle of this, and I think I'd be interested in letting that one just kind of sit in the back of the fridge for a little bit. And because fruit is one of the first things to fall off a beer.
Exactly.
And seeing if that fruit falls off and this mellows out a bit, because like I said, it is dark berry heavy without a lot else, and I just think that it needs a little bit of that mocha to shine through more. Some of those darker, roastier, almost bitter notes, and some of the malt character, even the more roasty, bready malt characters, to come through and just temper that fruitedness a little bit. So overall, it's good. It's drinkable. It's unique. Just room for improvement. This is in that, like, if I were putting a numerical rating on it, it's probably like a 5, 5.5 for me.
Okay.
All right. Playoffs. Yep. Knew that was coming. All right. We're going to go ahead and set the scene for you. As we get into it, we're going to try to make some predictions. So in the AFC, seeding notwithstanding, we're not really going to get into seeding too much. Just kind of a who's in, who's out, or who we think is going to be in, who we think is going to be out, and then some predictions there. So in the AFC, the Bengals, the Chiefs, the Titans, the Bills, and the Patriots are all in. The Titans control their own destiny. For the 1 seed, they win and they clinch. Otherwise, if they lose, Kansas City and Cincinnati, through a variety of outcomes, both have a shot at that. They play Houston, so it's probably going to be Tennessee with the first-round bye. Yeah. The Bills and the Patriots are still trying to figure out who's going to win the division and who's going to be the wild card team. So they're both in, but still some things to be decided there. That's all for basically seeding, though, not bye week or anything. So the AFC is the more convoluted one, and in the hunt, you have the Baltimore Ravens, who need a lot of help. So what Baltimore needs to go right is, first and foremost, they need to beat Pittsburgh. That's the first one.
Yep.
And then they need the Chargers to lose to Vegas, Indy to lose to Jacksonville, and Miami to lose or tie the Patriots.
Interesting. Okay.
So all 4 of those things happening, first and foremost, are very, very slim. So I'd imagine Baltimore's probably at home. 2 spots up for grabs here. I don't think they're going to grab one. We've seen stranger things. Miami losing or tying to New England is definitely a possibility. I think where you get into a little bit more of a coin toss here is the Chargers-Vegas game. I think that tilts heavily towards the Chargers. Baltimore-Pittsburgh is kind of a coin toss at this stage. And the Colts losing to Jacksonville, I think, is the tall order there.
Yeah, I don't think anyone expects the Colts to lose to. The Colts lose in Jacksonville. Just literally everything feels like it opens up. Obviously, with the doomsday scenario of the tie game, the game of knees. If that happens,
to see that happen. I don't think they would. I think they,
no, they definitely wouldn't.
They're going to play to win, but
yeah,
still,
that's that's just hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, I guess the solution there, though, is that if the team that loses is likely out of playoff contention. So if they both tie, they're both in. So the risk there, I guess, is that neither team could lose, talking about Vegas and the Chargers. If you just agree to tie, you're both in. Neither one of you are going home.
You're going to see them try in the first 3 quarters, and then you're going to start to see a little bit. You're going to start to see, all right. Now we'll let you back in.
So do you see any chance the Ravens grab a slot there? I really don't.
No, God, no. It's, again, Jacksonville to beat the Colts. That's what hinges on a lot of these.
Yeah, and even if
potentials.
They somehow do that, then you've got 2 coin toss games and themselves versus Pittsburgh and the Chargers versus the Raiders that have to go their way. So
yep.
All right, the Colts versus Jacksonville. The Colts are winning in. They have the easiest scenario that exists. If they beat Jacksonville, they're in. If they lose, then they need the Chargers to lose, and a combination of things. They would need the Chargers to lose, Baltimore and Pittsburgh to tie, or they would need the Chargers to lose, Baltimore to beat Pittsburgh, and Miami to beat the Patriots. So
they're in.
They should be in if they beat the Jaguars. Like you said, if Jacksonville somehow beats Indy, who has not won in Jacksonville since 2014, if Jacksonville somehow can beat Indy, then everything opens up. Because if that happens and the Chargers beat the Raiders, which is pretty likely, Indy's out. So, they need to win, because otherwise they basically need the Chargers to lose and then Baltimore to win and Miami to win, and that's bad. So they just need to win. They win and they're in. That's it. I would say Indy's got a pretty good shot at just beating Jacksonville and getting in. So I want them to
pretty
lose
good chance.
So bad because of the chaos that's going to create.
I mean, we've seen crazier shit happen, right?
Yeah. I don't think
Jacksonville beat Buffalo earlier this year.
They did. I was there. I was at that game.
I might money line bet that. Put $5 on, see what happens.
On Jacksonville? I would.
On Jacksonville to win.
I think
have a little fun.
The world wants Jacksonville to win, not because Bulky isn't a clown or anything like that. I think the world wants Jacksonville to win because that is going to create pure chaos if they do.
And it creates a little bit of chaos on top of the draft order, too.
Because if they don't, if Indy wins, they're in. And then your other scenario, if Indy wins, is a pretty simple winner of the Raiders and Chargers is in. For the most part, I think is how that works. So that brings us to the next point. Raiders, Chargers, they're in. The Raiders are in if they win, or they tie and Indy loses, or if both Indy and Pittsburgh lose. So basically, if Vegas can't win, they need Indy and Pittsburgh to lose. If Indy and Pittsburgh both lose, Vegas is in. Again, Indy's the cog that makes this whole damn thing go. Chargers
are the Viagra.
The Chargers are the true winner in. If they win or tie, the Chargers are in. They're the other likely one to get in. They need to win or tie. Now, if they lose, though, they're effed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, there's no scenario that they get in if lost. No, that makes sense.
No, there isn't. So they win and in, or they lose and they're effed. Vegas can still get in with a loss. The Steelers, they're in with a win, an Indy loss, and if Vegas and the Chargers does not end in a tie. Which makes this even better, because if Indy loses and Pittsburgh wins, Vegas and the Chargers have even more incentive to play for a tie. How the NFL did not put this Vegas Chargers game at noon is only a time zone anomaly. Honestly.
That's funny.
The only reason it's not a noon game is it's not a time zone analogy. But if Indy loses and Pittsburgh wins,
I can't wait for
Vegas
Sunday
and the
Night Football to
Chargers-
be Neil.
Yeah,
Neil.
Yeah, they have even more of a reason to play to tie,
Oh my God.
which is awesome. Again, I don't think that they would, but
The fact that it's an option is fun.
the fact that
There's
it's
no
an option is just
God way
fun
that
to
happens.
do it. So, last play.
Now, what if they play? The best part is if it goes in the OT. If they go in the OT
Yeah,
and Jacksonville,
Beat
is
Indy.
beating Indy, and then the game just happens to go into OT.
yeah.
But
Your mic just died again.
I know.
There you go. So, at this point now, we're assuming Indy wins. So your other team is basically a call it between the Raiders and the Chargers.
Chargers.
Chargers? I'm
Yeah.
with you on that. Where the hell did my mouse go? All right. So out of the AFC, who's your favorite to come out of these teams then?
I really like the idea of Tennessee getting the number 1 seed with Derrick Henry coming back.
Mm-hmm.
That then in itself is intriguing. I don't think having home field advantage is going to mean as much in the AFC as it does in the NFC. I think it still comes down to Kansas City, Buffalo. I think Buffalo is the one that comes out. I think this is what's going into, Kansas City's gone 3 years in a row effectively, to the AFC Championship game and 2 straight to the Super Bowl.
It looked like a lot less of a juggernaut. The defense has been playing out of their mind for Kansas City.
That's the one thing though is if the offense gets caught back up, I don't even think Green Bay beats Kansas City if the offense catches back up to where the defense is.
Yeah,
That's the one thing. They can do what they did 2 years ago and just run a train through the AFC conference, even though they were behind in every game they got into.
Yeah, I'm with you on the fact that it's KC or Buffalo, which weirdly could be a wild card weekend matchup. By the way, I think
that will obviously change.
I think
everything.
there's a possibility that can happen because if the Patriots win, and if the Patriots win the division, and Kansas City is 2 would play 6.
2 would
Kansas
play
City
7.
would have to fall. Yeah, 2 would play 7. Okay, that's probably not a possibility in the first round.
I would. Yeah, it should be 4, unless
Because you're the
lowest
Bills-
division winner is going to be
the 4 seed.
Cincy.
Yeah. So Cincy would be the 4 seed, which would put the Patriots at the 3 seed. If they won.
If they won, they'd be the. Yeah,
And the Bills
I'm not
would be
looking.
the
I'm
5
guessing.
seed. So
I think New England's a dark horse too,
Mm.
just given the experience and the coaching staff. Obviously, player wise, they're all
So I
very
guess-
much new to it. But
I guess that could happen because 2 would play 7, 3 would play 5. Kansas City would somehow have to fall to the 3 seed.
3 would play 6, 4 would play 5.
4 would play 5. Sorry.
There you go.
Seeding's
No,
hard. Kansas
I know.
City is not going to fall to the 4 seed, so.
No.
The Bengals. Anyway, sorry. Fun to play with. Who's your dark horse out of that side of it?
Not Patriots. I really like the experience in the coaching staff, the defense in itself, strong running game. We've seen Bill Belichick carry. We've seen what this Patriots team has looked like. This Patriots team won it all. Brady in the early part of his career, carried by a phenomenal defense. All he's being asked to do is to not lose the game effectively, and Mac Jones has done that beautifully. They are the dark horse. If they would have gotten the number 1 seed, that'd have been fun.
I agree with you. I would like to say the Bengals or the Chargers, but I think there's too many holes there. I think that they're still a year or 2 off.
The Chargers defense, just the amount of collapses they've had.
And that's what it is for both of them. Is it's the defensive side of it. Burrow isn't going to be able to run roughshod over these teams. He'll compete, but we've kind of documented it to where he has struggled against some good defenses in the playoffs. You're definitely going to face those. So I'm with
They
you.
remind me of the Rams when the Rams made it there
Yeah.
in 2017, right? Obviously, McVay, Zach Taylor from the McVay tree. Zach Taylor is a McVay, but that offense is so much fun. That's what that reminds me of.
I agree. It is. I'm with you. It's probably the Bills or Kansas City, but Patriots could be right back there. I think they're the dark horse. Can't discount the Chargers or the Bengals.
Or Tennessee, they are the 1 seed. They'll more than likely be the 1 seed.
Can't call them a dark horse. They keep winning, though.
But we haven't even talked. We're so sure of Kansas City, Buffalo.
Well,
I mean, Tennessee did take this a Chiefs team to the brink a couple years ago. Not to the brink, but
yeah,
you get Henry back. The defense is where I think is what's going to hurt them the most, and the fact that they don't have another number 2 receiver. But they're the 1 seed for a reason. So
yeah, they are. All right, NFC is a lot less fun.
Mm-hmm.
Packers, they're locked in by clinched. Cowboys, Bucks, Cardinals, Rams, Eagles, all locked in. Your only 2 teams that are left in the hunt are the Saints and the 49ers. 49ers, they're winning in, but they play the Rams. Niners lose.
Oh.
The Niners lose.
What do the Rams have to play for? Nothing, right?
The Saints are
They can't get the number 1 seed.
They can't get the number 1 seed, so not really, no. I mean, I guess they could still be... division is still on the line.
Oh, with the Cardinals. That's right. They still have... Okay. That makes sense then. So they're still playing for a home playoff wildcard game. Yeah. I was going to say, Pittsburgh was in that spot last year. Obviously, Cleveland beat them with some of the backups in them. We saw what happened there. So, but yeah, that's right. With the division still up for grabs, it's gonna be Green Bay though, right? I've always said it since once the NFC figures out who the number 1 seed is, it's theirs. And with it being in Green Bay,
see, I don't know.
I know it's hard to bet against Tampa Bay, but Mike,
I don't know if it is going to be Green Bay, though, and here's the thing, right? Green Bay has a great record. Green Bay's great record is propped up by 6 games against shitty division opponents. Sorry, but...
I mean, no, why?
I'm not wrong.
Don't put that name on Detroit. Come on, they were great this year.
Yeah, it's propped up against shitty division opponents for starters, where... the Rams, the Cardinals, and the Niners make it in are playing in one of the toughest divisions in football. And the Bucks and the Cowboys are both geared up to be explosive. The Bucks, I think it's going to come down to a lot of how healthy are they. Did they get Evans back? They don't have Brown. That offense is definitely taking some hits. Ronald Jones is in a walking boot. Does Fournette make it back? A lot of how deep the Bucks can run is going to depend on if they're healthy and how healthy are they. The Cowboys, Michael Gallup hurts a lot less than losing a Chris Godwin and having a banged up, Mike Evans, Leonard Fournette, and everything.
Even Antonio, like even the loss of Antonio Brown, which is experience in the receiving corps.
That defense is taken over, and depending on how they play the Packers, I mean, we've seen that defense, the Cowboys defense, absolutely take over games just with their turnover differential. They give up yardage, and Rodgers is the best in the league.
Though. Rodgers ain't throwing picks though.
Not throwing picks, right? So, but
he might take some sacks. So
the offense can hang as well, though, right? And that's what I look at here, and I see where we look in the AFC and we see some clear offensive advantages and some clear defensive advantages. The NFC, I think, is a lot more bunched together from an offense versus defense perspective, especially when you look at the Packers, Cowboys, Bucks, and Rams. I think it very easily could be either of those 4 teams.
You need Stafford. You really need Stafford to cut the turnovers down. McVay needs to find. I mean, I know that's a part of his game. Gunslinger. He is. He was the Patrick Mahomes with all the flashy throws. He was just bottled in Detroit.
Yeah.
I mean, Matthew Stafford is flat out
Good.
lost some games.
Yeah.
He's got the most pick sixes. You have an opportunistic defense in Dallas. You have an opportunistic defense in Tampa Bay. It's going to always be in Lambeau, which I know home field, but you have the weather, potential snow, wind. I mean, that it's not an easy place to win.
Coming from Lambeau, I think is the biggest difference, and that's where your running games are going to thrive, though, too, right? That's
fucking A.J. Dillon. You got Derrick Henry of the North there.
Yeah. And Aaron Jones. They have a really good 1-2 punch, and
yeah,
the thing is that to a degree, if healthy, the Cowboys can match up with that 1-2 punch. If they can get Zeke going, if they can get Pollard going, in theory, they can match up with that.
They're also banged up, too.
Yeah, the Bucs, if Fournette
offense
is healthy, can match up with that. We've seen Sony Michel be very good for the Rams, so can they go in there and run the football? Can they play smash mouth defense? Going through Green Bay is going to be the other question.
We'll get this out of the way, though, right? The wild card teams, Philadelphia, no.
Philadelphia,
the Cardinals, I mean, if they get hot, Murray's ultra talent. I don't think they will, and this is because I think Cliff's a bit overrated, and I think he just outcoaches himself.
They should get Hopkins back for the playoffs at some point.
That's huge for this offense. Mm-hmm. Defense is still also very good.
Yeah, defense has been a lot better than I think a lot of people realize, and I think that's going to be the difference. And we've seen them be able to feel the 1-2 punch in the running game with Connor and Edmonds.
And Connor should be healthy.
Should be healthy by then.
Healthy-ish by then. I'm still sticking with Green Bay.
Yeah,
it's just, I know it's the easy answer, but I've said it all year with the NFC, with how good the NFC is at the top. It's whoever gets home field advantage, and I think it's even bigger for Green Bay and just with the advantages of playing in Lambeau and having that defense. None of these teams outside of Green Bay has a 248-pound running back. That has been playing very well lately. You may see some smash mouth. You're going to see that. It may not be on Rodgers to have to win these games, and when they need to, outside of Brady, there's no one better.
Well, the flip side of that too, though, right, is that
why am I talking good about the Packers?
The team that's most geared up to stop the run here is the Bucs.
Oh, their offense has got to be able to score some points,
which means they need to be healthy. But I think if they are, they'll be able to. So the NFC, it's going to be a hell of a playoff season. The NFC, I
hope so. I really do.
There's less of a clear cut in tiers there, other than the Eagles. But you mentioned cold weather, right? So to make the case for that, the Eagles are the only other team here.
I think they win whoever they play against. I think if they get Arizona, if Arizona, beats Seattle, which they probably will, San Francisco beats the Rams, and whoever Philly plays, besides maybe the Rams, but if they can play like Arizona,
I think they could surprise some people and win a game too.
Yeah.
They're the only other team in this group that's used to playing in cold weather, so I mean that can't be discounted either. As much as I don't think the offense has what it takes to keep up. But you mentioned cold weather. I just wanted to make note of that. When it comes to the mentality that it takes to do that, they are the other cold weather team. Everybody else either plays in a dome or is in a warm weather location. So
it's
or both actually. Every other team plays in a dome and is in a warm weather location, except for San Francisco if they get it.
All right, so let's get to the big four. Who are your championship teams? Or who are your conference championship teams? Who's playing who?
So in the AFC, I'm going to go with.
Obviously, we don't know how the bracket's going to play out, but
so we'll break it down once seedings line up. We'll come back to it next week and actually fill out a bracket together. Fill out a Beerfield bracket.
Bracket.
Kansas City and Buffalo, I think, is the most likely to. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Patriots there. It's so hard to do with a rookie quarterback. Don't think Tennessee has enough, and there's definitely holes in the other teams. I think that's going to be Kansas City, Buffalo. On the other side of this, I do think the Packers make it to the championship game. I would need to see how things fly out here, but I think that the Cowboys are probably the other team that I like there, and then the Bucs would be my kind of in the, we'll call it the Patriots category, right? Of you never count out Tom Brady. Cowboys defense is very opportunistic though, and I look at the Rams, the Eagles, the Cardinals, and hell, if the Saints get in, I don't know how that they have a prayer. But those are all teams that can be and have been turnover prone. So, I think that gives them a very clean path, other than, like I said, Tampa, which a lot of it's predicated by how healthy are they for them. So,
Yeah.
going Cowboys, Packers, Bills, and Chiefs in my final four.
I agree with you on the AFC. Chiefs, Bills. Like, I will also give the nod to the Patriots. Tennessee loses first game at home. If they lock up the number 1 seed. NFC side though, I'm going with Rams Packers. The Rams, it all hinges on Stafford and whether or not he can protect the football. But defense, a lot of these guys are coming off the COVID lists. They're getting ramped up. They're built for the playoffs with all the high powered, with all the high top end talent at the top depth charts. Very much playoff experience with this team. McVay as well. It's the offense, even Stafford, and just with how incredibly good that passing game is. I think they find a way if the cards fall right. If the cards fall right with Packers Rams, I think would be an absolute awesome NFC Championship game in Lambeau Field with Stafford going back there and
yeah.
Yeah.
See, it could really be the Packers versus about 4 other teams there. I'm not quite as sure on the NFC as I am the AFC, where it's 2 and then maybe a third. I mean, there's about 5 teams that if you told me the NFC Championship game was going to be any combination of those, I wouldn't be too surprised. I think the Packers lock in one side of that, though. The Rams, my only concern is that turnovers will lose you playoff games.
Oh, easy. And that's why when I started off with it's all hinges on Stafford. And like, even if you go to the AFC side, Buffalo has had some very inconsistent games throughout there. Josh Allen, for as incredible as he is sometimes between the year decision making has cost them. I don't think it will this year, to an extent. I do have Buffalo as my Super Bowl, as my AFC Super Bowl representative, but they could very well, get behind, and you put a lot of pressure on Josh Allen. He's been known to make some mistakes.
Sure. Couple matchups I'm most excited to see here, or hope that I can see here before we go. I'd love to see the Chargers and the Bengals in a playoff game. That's the future, basically. In the AFC, a Herbert Burrow duel.
You still got Mahomes.
Yeah.
The AFC is bright, man. And the future is bright.
But
It's very bright.
But I've seen Mahomes Allen, and those are the two that are going to be linked to each other. I want to see Burrow Herbert in one.
I want to see Mahomes Herbert again. I know we get it twice a year, but man,
yeah,
I can't get enough of it.
Playoff wise, it's Chargers Bengals that I want to see. Bills and Colts, not Bills and Colts, sorry, Titans and Colts. We get to see them twice a year too. But on the same token, I would love to see if Jonathan Taylor, who's going to outrun each other out of Jonathan Taylor and Derrick Henry in that matchup.
Oh my God, the battle of establish the run.
Yeah, and who can be more effective with it? That would be, Pete Carroll's going to be sitting at home whacking it to that one.
I got one for you, man. Philly, Dallas.
See it twice a year.
I know, but man, just the playoffs, the shit. There's so many. I have a lot of Dallas fans and Philly fans, and then on the timeline. Just Hurts. I want to see Hurts. You and I have huge Hurts stands from a fantasy and from an NFL perspective, and Hurts, with all the flaws that he has, still it's been tremendously good. I want to see him get a playoff win here, though.
Give me Hurts. Give me Hurts and Kyler.
Yeah, battle of the future in the NFC.
Yeah, give me Hurts and Kyler there. Give me Stafford and Brady for old time's sakes. Give me Hurts or Kyler versus Dak. Give me Rodgers Brady one more time.
Yeah, we're not getting much of those. I mean,
Yeah.
the NFC is kind of they're getting old, right?
They are.
Hurts, Kyler, and Dak. You have three old timers kind of. I know Stafford's not old, but
He's in his 30s. So I mean,
yeah,
you've got an infusion coming in there too. You hope Fields really is your infusion there.
I was gonna say, yeah. And, I mean, you may get someone out of 22, and we'll get more into that in the offseason, but
yeah,
it's the NFC is kind of aging itself out there. I mean, Lance, we'll see what Lance is, in San Francisco, but it needs a little injection with how good the AFC has produced these young quarterbacks.
Mm-hmm. Well, and you're gonna see, and that's just it, right? The AFC,
Sans Mayfield,
produced a lot of good young quarterbacks, and you're gonna see the NFC start to turn over into that with Matt Ryan headed out. You figure that New Orleans
Rodgers, Brady
in line
too.
for one. Rodgers, Brady nearing the end of their careers. Carolina's going to be in store to draft somebody. Vikings will eventually move on from Cousins. Detroit's going to be in line to draft somebody at some point. So you've got Dak and Hurts. The Washington football team's going to have to grab someone at some point. The Giants, Daniel Jones, I guess, is a young infusion of something. But, yeah, the NFC is going to be turning it over here in a couple of years when the AFC starts to cross into
It's going to hit them hard, man. I think we'll get one nice ride out. The NFC's got to pray that Rodgers doesn't leave Green Bay then.
Yeah. AFC wins the Super Bowl, right? Whoever comes out of that side of it.
I actually really like Green Bay. I like the final ride scenario.
Yeah. I
don't.
Like
it pains
Green Bay
me
every year, and history tells me that Green Bay doesn't get it done. So
Green Bay will lose in traumatic fashion.
They're going to lose in the NFC title game
to the Cowboys, man.
Yeah.
Dream Super Bowl. Before we leave, give me a dream Super Bowl matchup you want to see.
A dream one, or what I think it's going to be.
Fine, one of each. We'll do one of each. We'll start with the one you think will happen, and then let's get to the dream scenarios. That's the fun one.
So I see the Packers choking in the NFC Championship game. I said that was probably going to be against the Cowboys. I'm going Cowboys and Chiefs is probably what we're going to see.
Oh, that'd be... just getting Dallas back into the Super Bowl would be huge for football in general.
What do I want to see?
Your dream scenario.
Rams Chiefs.
Ooh, rematch from a couple years ago. One of the highest scoring games.
But with Stafford, I want to see Stafford and Mahomes thing against each other because every NFL player, every podcast I've heard, every interview I've heard when they asked who the closest person to the NFL is to Patrick Mahomes, Matthew Stafford's the name that gets thrown out there.
I mean, he is. I mean, he was the guy doing no-look passes. He was threading it between six defenders at times.
To see Stafford and Mahomes. Honorable mention, Cowboys-Bengals, if that somehow were to come to fruition because of the firepower on those offenses.
Yeah.
I don't see that one being a possibility, though.
No. Thought-wise, Green Bay, Buffalo. And then, obviously, Green Bay wins it. Dream scenario, though? Tampa Bay, New England. I gotta. Just give me Brady versus Belichick. Rematch of this year, but in the Super Bowl.
I would love to see that. Another one I'd like to see, Hurts, Mac Jones, revenge game.
Oh, and the battle of the disrespected quarterbacks in their classes.
The battle of took over at Tua was in the middle, but took over at Alabama.
Yeah.
Brady Belichick.
Battle of Alabama, yeah.
Brady Belichick would be incredible.
That did break records. I mean, it'd be huge. And I think it'd be, outside of seeing, Dallas in the Super Bowl, I think getting Brady back there against his old team, it'd just be fucking chaos.
That would be It would.
That's my
chaos.
ultimate. I want that. I want to will that. I want a Brady versus
want
Belichick.
that to happen. Brady Belichick in the Super Bowl. Remember when Brady left? The question was, well, who was doing it? Who was responsible for it? They both get back.
Well, Brady's
to the Super
got that
Bowl.
win right now.
The answer is pretty easily both. So
It took the Patriots 1 year to get the back in the spot. And who knows what would have happened if Cam never got COVID the year before, because they were also, I think, playing pretty good before he got put down to rest by COVID.
and that's our show.
Yeah.
Boy, am I excited to see how that graph breaks down. So next week we'll recap all the Black Monday firings. We'll fill out a playoff bracket, and we'll hit some feelies, hand out some superlatives and some awards there. So,
Word.
see you next week.
Peace.